And good evening and welcome to the special edition of Hannity. President Obama addressed the nation tonight in his annual State of the Union address. And unlike his previous addresses, well, this one came before a divided Congress with Republicans now in control of the House. Now, the speech ran 62 minutes, during which the president vowed to keep America competitive, called for a 5-year domestic spending freeze, and he pushed for bipartisanship. But did the speech resonate with Americans? We turn now to Frank Luntz. He's standing by with a live focus group in Atlanta tonight. Now, Frank, I don't know what your focus group has to say. I'm going to give you a few of my thoughts. First of all, I thought a lot of this was flat, surprisingly so, in as much as, you know, we've heard a lot of this before. Earmark reform, transparency, for example. It almost seemed like the yes, we can magic disappeared a little bit, maybe because we've heard it before. But the thing that really struck me, Frank, and I'm dying to find out what your focus group says, is the disconnect. I did not feel the president had this sense of urgency, how bad unemployment, the debt, the deficit is, when he called for $400 billion in savings, when he accumulated $3.4 trillion in new debt since he's been president. You know, it seems like he's trying to sell the same old policies.
Well, let's find out what our 29 people in Atlanta had to say. And I don't want you to feel under any pressure because of what Sean Hannity just said. I want a word or phrase to describe what you thought of the speech.
Optimism.
Platitudes.
Wishful.
Empty.
Redundant.
Political.
Not connected with America.
Hyperbole.
Obama conflicting, and Ryan was speaking just like every American I meet.
Hopeful on Obama, but not compelling.
So let's do a quick show of hands of everyone in this room. Did he exceed or fall short of your expectations? Who would say that he exceeded them? Raise your hands. 1, 2 people. Who'd say he fell short? A whole lot of you. Sean, I want to go to one clip that we did because Obama talked a lot about bipartisanship, and yet the Republicans didn't respond too favorably to that. Now, the red line that goes up, red line is Republicans, green line is Democrats. Watch how high the green line climbs and the red line falls when Barack Obama appeals directly to partisanship.
New laws will only pass with support from Democrats and Republicans. We will move forward together, or not at all. For the challenges we face are bigger than party and bigger than politics.
So the question is, what is it about this appeal to bipartisanship that those of you who are on the Republican side don't like?
I just don't believe it.
Explain it.
I don't believe him. He said that before. I mean, when he first got into office, he was going to be the president that changed everything. Come across the aisle. Never happened.
It's phony.
Well, what is bipartisan? Is it, if you agree with me, that's bipartisan? I mean, we've got two sides here.
But I want to use one of those curse words we can't use.
Don't.
Y'all didn't.
Don't do it.
Y'all didn't. The Republicans didn't. The first thing he said was, I'm not going to work with him. I'm not going to work with you. What does that mean? That's like throwing down the gauntlet.
And he backed out a health care plan.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Sean, you've got a question.
Yeah, somebody said it. He said all of these things before. He said it last year. He said it during the campaign. He said it, and this whole campaign, it was only a couple of months ago when he was calling Republicans enemies. They could sit in the back. For 2 years, Republicans weren't invited to the table. You know, so in that sense, are we just reading words from a teleprompter, or are these, has he lost the ability, because he has 2 years' experience, for people to believe him?
So here's the question. Is it politics or is it principle that you heard tonight? Who would say politics? Raise your hands. Who would say principle? I want to give a shot. Arthur, you said principle. Tell me why.
The president is doing the best he can do at this point. He's trying to be in the center. He's not been, it's not that he's trying to cause problems with the economy. He's doing the best job he can do. I think he's done a great job. He's brought unemployment down since he's been in.
And we're not making any progress whatsoever. I mean,
we said in 2000, oh, Bush is not the real president. And everything, and then now they're yelling at him for the same things. It's like everyone's saying the same things again. It's 10 years later. It's the same thing, but we're worse off.
It was 2 years of just railroading legislation in Washington, rolling over Republicans, accusing them of being cynical, and now it's, hey, guys, let's come to the table, have a drink, and work together. It's nonsense.
It's like getting romantic talk from Tiger Woods. I mean, you're really going to believe it? You're going to put your trust in him?
They got a lot of
He's 2 years
lame duck this prior lame duck session. When they did come together and had some bipartisan support, things got accomplished. You have people here who are probably to the far right who don't want to see any type of compromise. When you have compromise, things get done, you get bills passed, and the country starts moving
Again,
forward.
what's wrong with compromise? I want to
You
understand.
have to have some compromise. The nature of compromise is to
Janice.
give a little on both sides.
There's really nothing wrong with compromise, but people
Hey,
have to sit
Pauline.
across the table, and then you have to talk about what's good for each side and take the good things together. Now, not everybody's
So
going to be
is Barack
happy.
Obama sincere about bipartisanship?
No, we don't know.
He's forced to.
Come on, one at a time. Is Barack Obama sincere?
I think he proved that in the lame duck session.
And I think that it's the
Quickly.
it should be the American people is what they want. We're all American, not Democrat, not Republican. We need
I get it.
work
I get it.
together.
Sean, you know what? The State of the Union is supposed to bring people together. It's supposed to appeal to all Americans, not just the Americans from your political party. I don't think that that has happened tonight. They're just as divided now as they were an hour and a half ago. Back to you.
You know what, Frank? You can't forget the 2 years. I mean, it's a big difference. All right, we got a lot more Frank Luntz coming up in just a minute. And welcome back to the special edition of Hannity. And we check in once again with Frank Luntz. He's standing by in my old hometown, Atlanta, with a focus group of voters. Frank, you got another dial I believe you're going to run.
Yes, once again, watch the red line. It's the Republicans. The green line are the Democrats. The higher it goes, the more favorable the reaction. Barack Obama said that the recession, or the worst of the recession, is over. Let's see if our people agreed with him.
But now that the worst of the recession is over, we have to confront the fact that our government spends more than it takes in. That is not sustainable. Every day, families sacrifice to live within their means. They deserve a government that does the same.
So I got two questions now for you all. How many of you believe the recession is over? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3 of you. So there's still, so obviously that must have undercut the credibility when he said it.
Well, I think with inflation kind of at risk still, and unemployment the highest it's been, I think it's kind of it's worrisome for us still. And with the debt, you know, it's kind of everyone's still kind of worried. There's too much uncertain ground, so who knows?
Yeah, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Is he talking about cutting spending? Are you kidding me? I mean, all this guy's done is spend, spend, spend. And in that clip, he said we need to live within our means. What is he talking about?
You're a small business owner.
Yes, I'm a small business owner.
Do you feel like the economy is starting to turn around for people like you?
No, I'm afraid of the economy for people like me. I don't feel like that at all.
He's talking about cutting spending, but yet he wants just to freeze spending for 5 years, and that's two different things.
And then one other question for you all. He does say that he wants to cut spending. How many of you, by show of hands, believe him that he wants to cut spending? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 13 of you voted for him. Sean, there are 13 people behind me who voted for Barack Obama. And all the questions I'm asking, only 3, 4, 5 of them feel comfortable with the things that he said or how he said them.
Yeah, one of the things, because it's very interesting, I paid very close attention to what the president was saying tonight, and I find the word investment to be a code word for an increase in government spending, and he gave two very specific examples about the one company and then another example, and he's talking about, you know, investment in education, investment in green jobs, and, you know, it all means more spending from my point of view, but as one of your guests pointed out here, he's had 2 years. $3.4 trillion he accumulated in new debt. He wants to freeze spending now, but freeze at the inflated levels that he began. So it doesn't seem like any significant cut in my point of view. Do they think so?
Okay, do you think that Barack Obama is serious? Do you think that the cuts that he's talking about are significant?
No, let's look at the facts. In the first 2 years, 22%.
One at a time.
He's not told the truth and told us the truth from the time he became president. Why should we believe him now?
He's disguising what he's spending. He's making it seem like he's using word of his investment as opposed to saying he's actually spending. He's not reducing anything. He's just transferring how it's spent.
Did you support him?
Yes, I did.
And yet you have problems with what he's saying about cutting spending.
Because everything he said thus far hasn't been true.
That's right.
Wow.
Let me state this.
Go ahead.
If both sides come together, he was talking about both sides coming together and then determine what they can cut. If both sides come together, then it will be true. It can happen if both sides work together like they did in the lame duck session.
We got to hold on one second. Sean, last question.
Frank, of the 13 people that you say in the room that voted for Barack Obama, are they leaning towards re-electing him?
How many of you are definitely or probably voting for Barack Obama in 2012?
Without knowing the alternatives.
Without knowing the alternatives, who's pretty well behind him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of you. Why are only 7 of you who voted for him still most likely to be voting for him now? What did he do that was wrong?
You need to know the other candidates. Yeah, who's the other candidate? Is it you? Maybe you, Mr. Luntz?
So you might not vote for Obama.
If you run, I'll vote for you.
We're on national.
But how can you ask a question like that? It's like, is the gun green or blue when it goes off?
Because what that teaches me is that even in his base, there are people such as Lawrence, you're nodding your head, who may not vote for him.
Right, because the things that he had to do, he had an opportunity. He didn't do it right, so now someone else has to come in and clean it up.
Sean, great group. If I were Barack Obama watching this tonight, I'd be a little bit nervous, and if I were Paul Ryan, I'd be pretty excited.
All right.